Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Zach Mason. I'm the Executive Director of Path to Hope Ministries as well as an author. One of my latest books is called Revelation Unfolding, and that is really the focus of this channel, is to examine biblical prophecy in the light of current events and see how they line up. And one of the current events that's going on is a phenomenon of dreams and visions where thousands and really probably millions of Christians at this point have had dreams from God, warning them about things that are coming. Most are seeing the same things. But this series I'm doing right now, and I apologize for those that want me to get back to the line-by-line interpretation, revelation, things like that, but I feel like it's urgent to get a few more interpretations of Dana Coverstone's dreams out there. So I've been going through them systematically. For those of you not familiar with Dana Coverstone, or if you're not sure whether or not his dreams may be from God, I have another video on this channel where I talk about that, where I go into the evidence of why I am convinced that they are from God. He's not a televangelist, he's a small church pastor. There's internal and external evidence that tells me that they are divinely inspired, and they are warning us about very specific things. I've done a lot of interpretations of his other dreams so far. I am on the other interpretations. I have included clips of him speaking, and then I comment on. I'm not going to do it on this one because this video is going to be shorter, I hope. It is just a quick commentary on two things, as well as the events of last night, the Joe Biden speech. But the Hail to the Chief dream and the jet stream. The jet stream, you really need to pay attention to that one. But I know a lot of you have been watching, have watched the Hail to the Chief dream recently, and you're really talking about that and wondering about it. So, but those two particular dreams, I am still thinking about, praying through, trying to make sure I understand them fully. When I do a full interpretation, I feel like I understand the whole thing very clearly. And the last one I just released on the first part of his November dreams, I know I do. If you had any doubts about that dream, go back and watch that interpretation, because it has become clear now exactly what it meant, every part of it. But there is some urgency to talking about the jet stream, and I know everybody's watching the Hail to the Chief dream, so let me talk about those briefly. On the Hail to the Chief dream, this was a dream. Go watch it. I'll include a link here in the description, where it's a very curious scene in Congress. At the State of the Union speech, and at one point a young Chinese girl playing a flute comes in and is kind of the center of attention. It's a very odd dream. So some of those details might be confusing you, and you might be wondering, the main thing I want you to understand is that Hail to the Chief dream, the understanding of that means it is not for now. That is talking about a future time, maybe not too far off, but it's not like now. It's not this year. Now, the Chinese girl playing the flute, that is reminiscent of the Pied Piper, right? Think Pied Piper. And what did the Pied Piper do? He led rats away to their destruction. Do you remember that there was another Dana Coverstone dream? I believe it was called the Biden's House dream, where he saw a lot of the corrupt people and politicians, lobbyists in D.C., and they were characterized by rats, and they were destroyed in that dream. And in the Tower, Trains, and Chains dream, I may have said that title wrong, he also saw snakes in D.C. being destroyed being put in a hole by the Chinese. So that is how I would interpret that. Is that girl is representing a Pied Piper of sorts, who is beginning to lead these rats to their destruction. And why is she young and female like that? Because it shows that she shouldn't have this power over them, number one. They should be able to resist her, but she is, in other words, China compared to us is weak. So how is she wielding this power? Through money, purchasing these politicians and holding them through extortion. And her age also, I think, has to do something with when her influence first started to grow strong. I think he said in the dream about 12 years old. So maybe that would take us back to President Obama's first term as to when China really began to buy off politicians of the country and move forward in that strategy. Anyways, but that whole dream is not yet. It's portraying something that's coming, because in the Biden's house dream and the tower, trains, and chains dream, again, those were events. The destruction of the rats and the snakes happened after other things that haven't happened yet, so that is later. I would consider that a later part of phase 4 of the Red Horseman. For those familiar with my work and what I've done on this channel, I have described 4 different phases of the Red Horseman as it impacts America. The Red Horseman of Revelation. Now, so that's all I have to say on the Hail to the Chief dream right now. I don't feel like it's an emergency to interpret it, so I'm going to put that one off for later. The Jets dream, though, I think has a very soon, possibly soon, interpretation. But again, there's certain elements of it that I'm not absolutely sure about. And I may still go and do a normal clip version of it, like I normally do, but I'm not going to in this one. So let me just talk about some details. I'm going to put the link. Go watch it again. In fact, pause this video, watch it again, then come back. But I will say, I have no doubt, as you watch the Jet stream, I have no doubt that God is giving these dreams to Dana Coverstone. He obviously loves God and is walking with him well. He doesn't do a great job with interpretation, though. Every time he starts to interpret, it's really kind of just off. And he tends to want to interpret things in a spiritual way. He wants to equate, like he sees F-16s in the stream, and he wants to equate that to spiritual warfare and things happening in the heavens that we can't see. But that really isn't the best approach. If you look at the Bible, the dreams given to Pharaoh and Joseph, Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel, stepfather of Jesus, that Joseph, all the dreams that they received were given to warn them about things coming to the earth that they need to prepare for. And that is no different than what's happening today. The reason these dreams and visions are being given to Christians today is for our warning, so we can prepare, and that's the message. Brace yourself. And it's not just brace yourself for spiritual warfare. We do need to do that, but it's more than that, right? Anyways, to the Jet stream, let's talk about this. I'm not going line by line with clip by clip. I'm just going to talk about a few things. He sees a calendar. He sees March of 2022, and he's certain it's that year. And he sees September of 2022 as highlighted. And March is light gray, like warning of maybe a coming storm, coming rain. And he hears the jets of sounds of F-16 jets. September is pitch black, and he sees the calendar page like a leaf is turning. Remember, the page is turning in a book almost, and it's becoming brown. It's going lifeless, and that month becomes pitch black compared to March, right? And then he sees 3 pairs of F-16s going north, west, and then straight up is what he saw, and those directions are what I'm not clear about. I'm still thinking about, praying about. But most everything else I think I understand, but still, there are various possible interpretations. Not a wide range of them. It all has to do with military action. These F-16s don't represent spiritual warfare. This is about war on earth, okay? And there's some clues here. So, March 2022, it was gray. What was that? That was Russia invading Ukraine, okay? That is what was the big deal in March of this year. And remember, in the jet stream, when you watch it, the skies were clear again April through August, which is what we've experienced. In March, there was a lot of turbulence. People were upset. There was a lot of talk about it. But in that case, he just heard the 3 F-16s in the distance. He didn't see them. Okay, and that's kind of like what Russia and Ukraine felt to us. It was upsetting. It was a darkness. It was getting dark. Felt like a storm might be coming. We were hearing about it from afar, but we didn't see anything yet. Okay, so what this tells me is, I believe what this is telling us is that something much bigger military-wise is coming in September, at least the beginning of it. Now, to be clear, World War III is not going to all happen in September. Something's going to begin in September. Keep that in mind. Something's going to begin in September, and it's not going to be nuclear war everywhere. That isn't how God works. This is one of the errors we keep making with prophecy and these dreams and visions, is we keep expecting that everything's going to go to crap at once. It's going to go, poof, everything's done. And that isn't how it's going to play out. Why? Because God is merciful. He is slowly lifting his hand of protection, and as his hand of protection gets further and further away, more things happen. But it's a slow process because he's so merciful. He's trying to give everybody every chance to repent. Anyways, back to the F-16. He's very certain they were F-16. So I'll take that. I don't know that you can really tell the difference between F-16 and F-15 or F-22. I mean, maybe you can. I'm not an expert on the aircraft, so I'm not going to say that. But he says he knows that sound. We'll go with him on it. But the planes had red and yellow lights. Well, red and yellow are the colors of China. Okay, they're the colors of the Chinese flag. So that's how I'm interpreting it. Now, I don't know if this is, again, it could be multiple ways. Maybe it's not China for sure. Maybe somehow this is about the Chinese and Russian alliance, and because Russia could be red, China could be viewed as yellow, and they're working together, and maybe China's just going to help Russia expand in Ukraine, and it's going to get bigger. That's a possibility too. I don't think that's it. I'll say it could also be pretending to the beginning, an official move that begins World War III, that starts moving it that way. And the directions could be pertaining to the directions the United States is invaded from by China, which would be the north and the west, and from space being up. But I'm just going to, I'm just going to tell you what I think it probably means, and then when we get through September, I'll have a better idea of what it actually meant. And if nothing happens in September, then I'll have to think about that and figure it out. I am expecting something to happen in September. And my best educated guess from the details of this dream is that this is indicating the invasion of Taiwan may happen in September. Again, it could be Russia expanding Ukraine and then beginning to take other countries. And that may happen too. But I think because of the red and yellow lights, this is about Chinese movement specifically. And there's been other prophetic dreams that have seen that the invasion of Taiwan is the trigger that begins World War III. They've seen our Marines fighting in Taiwan, not fully equipped by our president, by the way. Biden does not fully equip them. So that's the one where we're actually directly involved, and I think that's why it would represent a pitch black sky, because it's the beginning of a lot of darkness. Now, why the directions of northwest and up? Well, let's just say easiest way is maybe Taiwan is going to be invaded from the north and the west, maybe the north first, then the west. China lies to the west of Taiwan, but maybe they're going to come in from the north first. And up would be a space attack. Yes, satellites, etc., but it could also mean an EMP over Taiwan, which is a strategy they eventually will use against us. But yeah, so that's basically what I think it's saying. And at the end of the dream, the Christ figure, Jesus says, one of the last things he says is, I'm not remembering the exact words here, I don't have them written down, but he basically is saying, this is the beginning of the things you've been bracing for, right? And a lot of people are aware or believe that 2023, or this next season, is going to be the beginning of hard times, of possibly the beginning of the actual 7-year tribulation. It might just be the beginning of serious birth pangs. But so when would this happen? Well, I wouldn't expect it before Rosh Hashanah. Because we're still, God does things according to the Hebrew calendar. And I think we'll probably go most of September, which is rattling sabers. if this were going to happen, I would expect it to be kind of right at the end of September, maybe on Rosh Hashanah, maybe after. I don't know. I'm speculating about the future, but that's what I got. I'm going to tell you about the jet stream. Red and yellow to me is China. They're real military jets. The directions mean something, and I think they have to do with the invasion of Taiwan. Taiwan is important. From other dreams we know for the beginning of World War III, we will watch and see. Whatever happens in September will be interesting, and stay strong, stay faithful.